I'm glad that I paused my own stream at a moment where I'm making a thinking face. It looks very funny.
My favorite thing about like pausing streams where there are real faces is that it always, always, always looks bad at some point.
Yeah, I've heard friends say the same thing.
It's my favorite thing. One of the joys in life that you can't always get
Yeah, it's just
without
like
the power of technology.
you're always pulling some ridiculous face, or it's because like every state of blinking just looks wrong. Like it needs to be animated. You're not supposed to see it not animated because it's just uncanny in its own way.
Mm-hmm. 9 out of 10 dentists agree.
Look, I want to speak to the dissenting dentist. He's got some shit to say. So what the runaway room, is it just referring to the fact that they're in an omnibus, or is there some chicanery going on? Or is this your way of saying, excuse me, I read that line yesterday? And by yesterday I mean today?
So, Lord Van Zeeks, continue to substantiate the case for the prosecution, if you please.
I've laughed so much if there's like a to be continued in 5 minutes. I don't think there will be.
I'll just like be like, alright, that we're done for the day, right?
Oh my god, drink it!
Drink faster, dude. We're waiting.
Oh no! No, I'm not doing that. What is a bad? A miserable pile of secrets? Having savoured the rich aroma of the calming contents of this hallowed chalice, it may seem crass to crush it in dust. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Oh, get it? Court. Discourtesy.
No. 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 Lord Van Zeeks?
Is it cold in here, or is it just me? See, that's a Japanese thing to do. It's when someone made a bad joke, it gets really cold. No one actually made a joke in the game, it was just me. As your antiquated tome no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during a summation examination. Which is why my voice wasn't hurting. So I honored a deathly silence and listened to the charade.
Isn't it charade?
I like to switch between them for no reason. I think both are fine in some contexts.
I see.
It seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. Well, no matter. There is nothing so hard to prove as a self-evident truth, it would seem. No, and why else would we grace the courtroom with our presence after all? So, let us proceed to the next round of battle. I'm not taking my jump roll. Bring forth the witnesses once more.
Coward.
It's cold.
You called me a coward. You can put it on. Back on.
Oh shit, hey Damsung. You're right. Witnesses. Or Goku. Or... Actually, who does it first? I feel like someone does it in Dragon Ball as well. I'm not sure. I trust you heard the summation examination we have just had to endure. Oh, sorry. Wait, this is my guy. Oh, yes, that I did, sir.
Was I doing this one?
Yes,
I
yes, you were.
genuinely cannot remember.
You were, yeah.
Of course, I heard it.
Oh, yes, sir. I heard it, sir. Oh, top of the morning, sir.
You, sir, on the end. The coachman. I believe it's Beppo.
Yes, sir, my lord, sir.
If it transpires that in your previous testimony, you were attempting to veil the presence of a fifth passenger on your omnibus, you will be dealt with harshly. You will be found guilty of perjury. You are advised to bear that in mind, sir.
Oh, shit, does England's court actually have perjury? Oh, mio Dio. Is that even Italian? I don't even know.
Now then, witnesses, I hereby call on you to testify before the court again. You will explain the various misgivings brought to our attention by the defense's summation examination.
The other two guys are not having a good time. I only carried 4 passengers that night, I swear it.
Well, I for one was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus.
Oh. He fiddled us on the fare, he did! And then I saw that blood-curdling sign as well! It's all too much, it is!
I tell you, I saw MacGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands.
Oh, yes, he stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so, yes.
Counsel, make sense of this for me, please.
The phantom 5th passenger, conjured into existence by my learned Eastern friend, never existed. The confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little cousinage. Never heard of this word before. I assume I get the gist of it, but Beppo, explain yourself. I'm terrible sorry, Guildmaster. The guild's fare is 4 pence across the board. You know that. Am I to understand you've been overcharging our passengers by a penny a fare? Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's so cold, and the last run of the day is always half empty.
You have been dishonest, coachman.
I'm sorry. You're a disgrace, Beppo! A disgrace! And your selfish actions have brought dishonor on the entire guild. If I may, sir, I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week. What were you saying?
Dishonor on your cow, dishonor on your mom, dishonor on your dad, etc., etc. Meme.
What?
4 passengers at 5 pence each is, yes, 20 pence. I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, but I just can't make the result come out differently. Well,
No,
congratulations, I guess.
Hey, sometimes you make the same mistake twice in a row.
That's how I have friends. Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings has already been explained. So, counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, if you please.
We've already had the pleasure of a protracted summation examination today. I see you intend to continue the parlor games. Absolutely! I wonder if we'll have a second summation declaration. But then it's like, oh no, it's double jeopardy, you can't make them do it twice. So, there were only 4 passengers on your carriage, but you didn't charge them for the standard 4 pence fare? Is that right? It's possible to make the last run of the day pay. I was so cold. I was all I could do to stop myself from passing out. Getting chillblains? Just this. Is this a word too? It was terrible, so I wanted to give myself a pat on the back for even keeping the bus running. Thank you again, Effie. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
We're learning things. Doesn't a dedicated coachman deserve an extra penny passenger? You're digging a deeper hole for yourself here. If only there would have been a fifth passenger on the omnibus that night. Then we would have had another suspect. Does that mean that everyone on board that night paid 5 pence instead of 4? Well, I paid 5 pence too, sir!
And I just told you that I did.
A flat fare of 5 pence across the board. It's not something to be proud of. The so-called discrepancy my learned friend identified was nothing of the sorts. Much like the phantom killer you desperately needed, it's gone, dead and buried. I'd have been happy if it had ever existed in the first place. Also, he fiddled us on the fare. I know what he means, but this blood-curdling sight. You mean the murder, I presume? Yes, sir.
A loathsome sight. No one should have to witness the horror in the eyes of a man the moment his life is taken.
Oh, well, not exactly, sir. I mean, I didn't actually see the exact moment the gent was stabbed.
Good gracious! Really?
We have another witness who did, however. The banker has already testified to it. Mr. First didn't actually see the point at which the victim was killed. That may turn out to be very significant. I heard the banker gent next to me take a sharp intake of breath, see? That's when I looked through the glass I did. That's when I saw the horrible blade poking out from his belly. All covered in blood it was. Every time I see a knife now, I can't help screaming, even when I'm eating. Imagine if I pulled this voice out the first time I tried to voice a British guy. This would be a very different playthrough.
It would be an experience.
So you saw the defendant, Mr. McGilded, stabbing the victim, Mr. Mason, who was sitting next to him.
That's what I said, isn't it?
It was bothering me before, this was. For just a brief moment, he hesitated before answering the question.
Anyway, there was only the two of them inside the carriage, wasn't there?
No, the word is were. Hey, Vagabond.
There's been much talk of a fifth passenger, but as of yet, zero evidence.
And what are we waiting for? Wasting all this time for, eh? It's black and white. The man's guilty.
Something about Mr. Fairplay's testimony just jars with me. I wish I could work out what it was. For the music stopped for it's like, oh my god, it's one of those ones.
Hey, Snail. I think he's something else. I don't know. Earlier you testified that you saw the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you? Yes, that's right. You said the victim was on the floor and described the assailant holding the knife in an ice pick grip. Oh no, they killed Shoko. Wait. Yay, they killed Shoko. I suppose I might have, you know, just put the cart before the horse, maybe.
What's this?
Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horses when I heard a scream from the seats on the roof deck. Oh yeah, I should have my gloves on, shouldn't I? Oh, I expect that was me, sir! Then when I turned around, yes, I saw through the skylight. The gentleman was on the floor and the knife was sticking up from his midriff. That's right, yes, and the fellow holding the hand was the famous man, yes. So in short, you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all? I really thought that I did, but when I go over in my head again, no, I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment of the stabbing, did I?
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay?
Now you listen to me. I know what you're thinking. You didn't really see the exact moment the fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that? Eh?
Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. I'm not getting flustered, that's for sure. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could you just happen to see the exact moment the crime was committed? I mean, he could have. Unless something positioning, I don't know. Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spend your time peeping through a skylight on the top of an omnibus, that is.
Uh-oh. Peeping? I'm a respectable city banker, I'll have you know. And I know what I saw. I remember it as clear as a Ballarat day.
Ballarat in
No idea what that
Victoria?
is.
It's a town in Australia.
It was a grim scene, I don't mind telling you. Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me if I was getting a little hot under the collar there, my lord. I would ask you to supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw. Oh, I can do that, all right. I'll tell you just how grim it was. Oh fuck, it's me. Do you think I'd forget the sight of those blood-soaked hands after that butcher stabbed the man?
That's fine, he was wearing gloves, not hands.
Hold it.
Blood-soaked?
Well, perhaps soaked is laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it. Oh.
I remember. And you saw that from the roof, through the skylight?
Well, the skylight's reasonably large, so I had
Yo!
a pretty good view.
Oh, sorry for the distraction. Yo, Pistol Shrimp with a raid. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles with me and Effie. narrating this very, 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 very long game.
I've made some bad decisions, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
There was a lamp on inside the carriage as well, so I'm quite sure of what I saw.
I apologize for the unnecessary voices I'll be putting on. This banker's latest statement. I feel sure there's something not quite right about it.
When you feel something doesn't add up, Mr. Naruhodo, that's when you should have a good look through the court record.
We're still in the tutorial. Not long ago, this trial very nearly came to an end. Somehow, we've managed to keep our chances alive here. I can't waste this cross-examination. I have to use it to bring some new facts to light.
If you're not careful when you press these witnesses, you lose a life, Mr. Naruhodo, you dumbass. The danger is that the jury will end up believing something unhelpful, as they did before.
Well, they didn't this time. Maybe, but we can't let the fear of that happening stopping us from uncovering important new information, and I refuse to play an Ace Attorney game that doesn't let you press every statement.
Yes, you're so right.
About the pressing statements, I agree. I need to pay careful attention here. You're right, Vagabond. Damn, sorry, it has been a long time. I don't want to miss even a flicker of a reaction among these witnesses. And that's like 2 weeks ago.
Among these witnesses. Remember, if you happen to spot one of the witnesses reacting in a strange way, don't hesitate to pursue them as to the reason.
Eject them from the scale. I agree. Okay. Mr. Fairplay, just one more thing.
Objection.
Mr. Fairplay is involved in some foul play.
But he's a banker. They're always so honest. Blood-soaked hands.
Well, I admit that soaked might be laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it.
Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little peculiar.
What?
Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGilded, on the night of the question.
Oh, yes, right.
And there certainly does appear to be a sizable dark coloured stain here. But as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right-hand glove!
Ah!
Oh no, don't do anything you're gonna regret. In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony's inconsistent! I keep using that word and I do know what it means!
But no, that can't be right.
So you're the liar here then?
I don't know what
I'm not sure what you want me to do with that.
That's right! You were quite clear about it! You said, yeah, it was both hands!
Oh, wow, his cane is very flexible.
Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, it calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth?
Well, I...
Objection.
It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying. Yes, it wasn't both hands, it was only one. But the fact remains. The victim's blood was on the accused.
Objection.
No, Mr. Fairplay categorically stated that he saw blood all over both hands, which means
On the
there's a
bone.
I'm trying to get something else, but yes. Which means there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court.
Why? I am a city banker, for pity's sake. My word should be gold standard. I am a gentleman, not some cutter snipe. Upstanding members of society don't prevaricate.
He's claiming to have no reason to lie. But is that really the case?
Sorry, I got hit by a yawn. Mr. Naruhodo. If we had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying,
That wasn't a real yawn from me.
it could turn the tide in this trial completely.
Something to show this man has a compelling reason to lie in his testimony. If I remember, he is in Epstein's logbook. I mean, McGilder's book.
Yes, counsel.
The defense is ready to present evidence.
By Jove, are you sure?
No, the other. Oh yeah, I forgot I was lisping, wasn't it? Yes, evidence will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had reason to lie in his testimony.
Nobody expected the cat noise.
Oh, sorry, I skipped that line.
I hereby call on the defense to very well. I hereby call on the defense to present its evidence. The evidence that demonstrates a motive for the witness's alleged deception of the court.
Take that!
Honestly, I think all attorneys should say take that when they present evidence. This is a list of the debtors who owe money to Mr. McGilder.
Yes! A list of innocent victims crippled by the accuser's extortion.
Point is, among us, these debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay.
Should I say foul play?
Oh, maybe they'll save that one for later.
They better. What? Sorry, chair noises. Aggressive chair noises. Mr. Fairplay, are you currently indebted financially to the accused? Well, it's barely worth of being called a debt.
According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas, not an inconsiderable number of West African countries, wouldn't you say?
What? Fuck off. Well, what of it?
Let's suppose Mr. McGilder were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case?
These documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. Therefore, were the creditor, the defendant here, to be sentenced to a capital punishment, all outstanding debts which were owed to them would be annulled. They would cease to exist. As opposed to sneezing to exist. Cease to exist?
Mr. Fairplay! If that is your real name, is it not the case you just claimed in your testimony to have seen something you never in fact saw? In a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 Guinea-Bissaus to the defendant. You're gonna let out a garg!
No, my voice will die.
Okay.
Order! 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 Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Yes, my lord.
Larged.
Let me ask you again. And be aware that your answer may have most serious implications upon your future, sir.
This is half of his dialogue now.
Sorry?
This is half of his dialogue now.
Did you or did you not see the precise moment in time in which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim?
Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony.
Alright, now let's not make a melodrama out of this.
What's a little perjury between friends?
Perhaps I did overstate the truth a pinch.
A pinch?
But it makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood on on McGilded's hands. Both of them.
Objection.
And yet, only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained. It's been a while.
Who's on first?
I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. First.
Well, the thing is, I think I remember seeing it myself as it happens. Seeing what? The blood, sir, on the assailant's hands. I think. Yes, I'm almost sure it was on both of his hands, not just one, that is. What? What?
It would appear that we're going to need further testimony from all you witnesses. This time, I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear? Yargs. Yargs. Mr. Naruhodo. This is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last.
Yes! I might finally have a chance to turn things around here.
There was blood in both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that.
Well, have you heard of a thing called the Mandela effect?
However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment that stabbing transpired, if that matters.
I remember seeing the knife it is, and I remember seeing both the attacker's hands with blood on them. I didn't actually see anything by myself. No, not until I heard that scream.
Anyway, the fact remains, there can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, or we all would have seen. Well, lo and behold. In truth of fact, one of you was witness to the crucial moment the crime was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord, but honestly, there was no one else inside that carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. That much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying we saw the man do it.
That's really not what testimony's about.
Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more.
I
The
guess.
victim's fresh blood is clearly visible on the seat, corroborating the witnesses' accounts.
Nice try.
In other words, there is no substantial nor significant change to the facts of the case. Single bed.
Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel.
Yes, my lord.
Very good, my lord.
Hold it!
No, the evidence tells us otherwise. We have the gloves the defendant was wearing on the night in question in the court record.
I'm well aware of that, sir, but nevertheless. I know what I saw and I stand by it. The man had blood on both his hands.
He's defiant, even in the face of hard evidence. He's steadfastly refusing to admit that he might be mistaken about what he saw. Why?
Your reasoning is dire. One hand or two, the salient point remains unchanged. Minutes after the grim crime, the victim's blood dripped guiltily from the accused's fingers.
Oh yeah, sorry. Don't try to downplay this. Whether or not you saw the exact moment of the crime is a matter of fundamental importance as well, you know.
But... For crying out loud, we all know that no one else could possibly have done it. I was just, trying to save us all some time.
You have a loan of 20 Equatorial Guineas outstanding with the defendants. Do you not?
Humph.
Did you hope to release yourself from that financial burden by ensuring the defendant was found guilty?
Well, that's not entirely... not what I was hoping for. I just lost a little guinea or 10 when I backed the wrong horse in the derby, that's all. It's going to win it all back. It's a fixture this weekend, it's a sure thing.
What is it, fixed? A little Burkina Faso or 10?
I'm a banker. No one bats an eye if I borrow a little spending money for the weekend. For the weekend? Wow, that's a lot of money to give the weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the weekend.
I think you may have revealed rather more about your character than you bargained for, so...
This witness's scruples are not on trial here. Proceed to the next witness.
Is that really how it's supposed to work?
Hold it!
Lovely, now you can talk to yourself.
You definitely saw that too? Blood on both hands? Well, this one's not as painful to speak as the other guy. Yes, sir! I mean, I know what you're gonna say, sir! Only one of Mr. McGilden's gloves has got any signs of blood on it!
That's right.
The thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and saw Mr. McGilded sitting beside the other fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir. He wasn't wearing these gloves? That's correct, sir. And I saw the blood on both of his bare hands quite clearly. It's true the dark coloured stain of the dark leather gloves wouldn't be easy to see.
I should point out that the police officer who apprehended the accused on the night in question reported there was no trace of blood on Mr. McGilden's gloved hands.
Wasn't blood on his hands?
This is puzzling indeed.
There must be... This must be significant somehow. I'm sure of it.
Hold it!
You didn't see anything? Oh, yes, sir. That is to say, no, sir. I didn't. Very sorry about what I said, sir. Very sorry. Yes, indeed. It was very, very wrong of me to make up stories and say I saw him stab that man. What did you agree,
That's
sir?
pose. I know what you're insinuating, but I certainly wasn't making up stories.
Still, to say you saw nothing isn't right either, is it? No, sir, I saw nothing at all. Mr. Beppo, you were driving your horses! At the very least, you must have enjoyed the good view of London streets, no? Please, you didn't even see that? It was so cold that night, you see, it was all I could think to keep us from passing out, so. Yes, my head was fairly frozen, sorry to say so.
It would seem prudent to avoid travel on the last omnibus service of London's cold winter nights.
Beppo! Ah. Gosh, now I am kind of tired.
What?
I know. I didn't have
We're
time for
taking
that.
turns, being exhausted.
Hold it!
And everything you saw of the incident was through the skylight on the roof of the omnibus?
That's right. It was fiercely cold that night, but the glass wasn't frosted over.
Oh
What's
yeah?
up?
I remember I was shivering, it was so bitter.
Which rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place. Well, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin.
Oh? Why not?
Because he was a coward. It was locked from inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door.
It was locked?
That's right. And it's a public bus service, for pity's sake. It's not what I call fair play.
Oh no, he's fallen asleep too. Yeah, I had the exact same experience. I tried knocking, but the gent inside just gestured at me to clear off. So I had no choice but to climb up the roof deck and look down longingly into the warm cabin below.
Well, I can assure you that I wasn't just looking down. I was glaring, long and hard.
Nice.
And that's precisely why I can tell you with absolute confidence that if there was anyone else at all in that cabin, I would have noticed.
Except you wouldn't, because they'd be behind the diagonal perspective view.
Mm-hmm.
Unequivocal, I would say.
I'm not sure about these two witnesses. Would they really have seen everything inside the cabin from the skylight? I already considered this. Allow me to confirm just one more thing, Mr. Fairplay. You're riding this omnibus and witnessed the events in the cabin with the skylight in the floor of the upper deck. Is that right?
That's right, yes.
In that case, there's a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight from you.
Out of mine. It's not too late. We've got the rest of our lives.
Oh, I was thinking mental as anything.
What?
By golly, really? Obvious at this stage, we can't say for sure. But the possibility cannot be denied that at the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection!
Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here in the flesh.
Very well. I will uphold the prosecution's demand. You will identify the area on this cross-sectional plan of the omnibus. Where exactly in the omnibus are you suggesting that this potential extra passenger could have been situated?
On the back.
Take that!
He was inside the chair! Both
Yep.
rows of seats on the roof face in the
Checks out.
direction of travel. Whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other. Which means the visible part of the cabin, which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight, is as I've drawn here. Visual calculus, strong success.
Ah,
That's right, my lord. As you can see. The seat opposite the one in which the victims and its attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it.
Objection!
It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there.
Ah, Umineko.
You Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity.
I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount.
And witnesses are Disney Plus.
What? Oh god, did you really? Cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. In more ways than one. That is, unless you're able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude.
Dupless.
Can you, Mr. Naruhodo?
I honestly don't know. Who could it have been? Who could have been in the other seat, which was out of sight from the witnesses on the roof deck? I don't have any idea. I understand, my lord. The defense would like to put forward a name.
You are a fool. That response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his limitations. Perhaps the same could be said of any man. A toast to hard lessons not yet learned.
Let us not delay, Counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger in the other seat.
This could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn about the trial in my favour. On that night, on the night of the murder, the person occupying the scene from the omnibus cabin that was obscured from view was... I don't know. I want to say it's McGilded, honestly, but I have no idea. Like, it's not the Baron, surely. That'd be dumb. Let's try it.
Take that!
Oh?
The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witnesses on the roof deck failed to see has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded.
Mech?
Mr. McGilded?
What are you talking about, Counsel? That's the name of the defendant.
Objection!
What is a man?
If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hallowed chalice, do forgive the discourtesy.
Lord Van Zeeks.
People talk of those tiny island nations in the Far East having a culture of their own. But enough talk! Have at you!
I tripped up my cord.
I can tell
I
it.
stepped on it.
I heard it.
Yeah. Okay. I can hear if it hasn't broken.
But I see
He's one
they
of us
use
is
the
having a great
terms
time in chat.
ill-advisedly.
What are you trying to say? Look, I'm just trying to go viral on live stream battles. Eventually it'll happen.
Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater, such as yourself, might understand. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. It's the very premise on which the case is built. Even though the bricklayer is dead, someone still built it.
Objection!
But that premise may be wrong.
What?
If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way.
What inconsistency, Counsel?
Defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claimed there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection!
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gory remains.
The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance.
Yes, their testimony remains unchanged.
Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant, and that Berenstain Bears was spelt with 3 E's. 4, actually. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night. A third party we've yet to identify. And there ain't no party like an unidentified third party. And the victim's blood was on that passenger's hand. Both of them!
Objection!
And who was this third party?
obviously the true culprit.
Extraordinary.
It's really look funny when they do that shot back and you still see Ryunosuke like hunched over.
In fear. Order! 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 What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
The defense's postulation is just that. Nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused.
Objection!
When elaborating on his testimonies, Mr. Fairplay said, 2 of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out their faces.
Yes. The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them, though.
Yes, that's right. Both gents were most certainly hatted. Hatters tend to notice such things, sir.
And what particular styles of hat did the 2 gentlemen sport, Mr. Fergus?
I'm afraid I don't remember, I don't. And you call yourself a hatter?
Oh, he's not a Mad Hatter.
The style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin.
How can you be sure?
Because if there had been, the accused, Mr. McGilded, would undoubtedly have been offered to depose the fact
He's asleep, you dingus.
unless that is, you are proposing an even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed to even notice the presence of a true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled. Ah!
He's right. If there was another person travelling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus, it's inconceivable that Mr. McGilded would have been unaware of it.
Order! There is clearly a simple solution to this problem.
Bring the accused, Mr. McGilded, to the stand!
Well, what say you, counsel?
The prosecution objects, my lord.
On what grounds?
As a suspect, he will have already made a full statement to the police.
But what if there's some reason he's unable to speak freely?
Magnus McGilded is no uneducated ruffian.
Oh, he's not a ruffian, he didn't kill someone.
If indeed it turns out the man had been withholding information, you can be sure it will have been a most deliberate act.
Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion?
My lord, should we ask Mr. McGilded to testify, or not? We need to hear what he has to say in order to find the truth. The defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand.
In that case, I would like to hear the opinions of the jury.
Yes, I need time to consider this.
If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say.
Get the man out of here, I say!
It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony.
When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild.
Hearing what the patron of my favorite little park has to say. Oh, well, that would be lovely.
Yes, the jury says the man must be heard.
Very well. The court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to the stand at once.
Now, maybe what actually happened will finally become clear.
Let proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day?
To be sure I have, my lord.
There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin, as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal the fact from the police?
Begad, no. 'Tis not in my venture to hide anything at all.
Just answer the questions, please.
The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell yous all, or keep me mouth shut?
Can I just say that if in the event, if I ever get this game, I'm not going to voice it, ever. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but thank goodness I'm not going to do it a third time.
Why would you ever get the game?
Hypothetically.
Effie's Christmas wish list, everyone.
No.
Tell us what, Mr. McGilded. Anyway, when I replay Umineko on stream, I'll get you for sure.
This is a joke.
The fine fella representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger.
Who didn't pay the fare?
It's true.
It was me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened.
You... What?
What?
No, Magnus McGilded. That convenient excuse can't save you now.
I'm truly sorry. So I am, Lord Van Zeek. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken in by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you.
Which was?
Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time and not in any way involved, you see.
What?
If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she'd done it. They'd have hauled her into this here courtroom. That's just like myself. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord.
Okay. And who was this young child of whom you speak?
That, I don't know.
You don't know?
Well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw her before or since.
We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witnesses' statements to be disregarded by the courts.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised. If the urchin isn't there here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings.
Oh, finally! Ryunosuke stood up. Someone's trying to go after them. It's no use. What's going on? Did someone just like go? I wasn't here.
Pretty much.
Or like what's the Sailor Moon guy?
Effectively ninja'd.
Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. They're trying to steal the Seki, but
Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus.
Tuxedo Mask is the guy's trying to name you. Were you telling me he got to drive away in the omnibus?
I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. We've got someone to catch!
We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff. Amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew that was, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. Oh, do we stop here?
Alright, good night, Dirk.
Unironically, I'm thinking about it.
Sleep well.
I'm thinking about it.
You guys know when you're...
I don't know. I just don't know if I can do another 2 hours.
Just perfectly fair, to be honest.
I don't like to not stream for like 3 hours, but it's been real rough. Oh my god, that thinking space is still there. Anyway, I also need to like make sure to clip the me tripping up thing before I forget, because I also just am very curious what that looks like on the camera. Yeah, maybe I'll stop here, I guess.
Maybe I'll stalk the VOD so I can see what it looks like.
I'll get a clip of it soon. I'll DM it to you. There's no ceiling for a while, but it's just like it all happens so fast. Like, and I'll be honest, like it did wake me up.
Maybe we should do it again so you can wake yourself up. Is that how it works? Sorry, I just saw it.
Oh, you found it already?
Yeah, I just went by like what Snail said.
Oh, by the timestamps. Well, you make the clip then.
Oh shit, I lost it.
Oh no.
Nothing happened.
What am I doing? I want to. I assume he's still streaming. I can't tell if it's not refreshed. Yeah, let's stream JP. I mean, let's raid JP. Also, how are you for when we next continue this, Effie?
Friday should be good. Yeah, the usual.
Alright. Yeah, I apologize. I did not My sleep has been funny this week, and so yeah, a short one, but if you're watching this live or via VOD, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, etc., etc., etc. It doesn't matter as long as you're here, have a good time, etc. And see you in the next one. Bye.